Good Saturday morning. This is Mark Keller with the Scally Cat Pin Syndicate. I come to you today just to briefly discuss my motivations and how I see political discussions moving forward on this group. I know that we all come from different walks of life, and some topics just get heated fast. I love this country, flaws and all. And I proudly create patriotic pins no matter who's in the White House. I previewed a pin of what I consider to be a historical event. Not to the level of the 9/11 tributes, but nonetheless. What happened in the State of the Union, no matter which side you're on, should be shocking. The simple act of standing up in unity, or lack thereof, is very telling. We all can interpret it as we see it, but I interpret it as a clear division. My concern is if there's no conversation, then that division is just going to get wider and wider. The Facebook group, Syndicate, is not the place for the discussions. There are other places for Facebook and the internet for such conversations, or in person. It's usually the best way to get your point across. But that being said, I posted the preview with a notification asking that if someone was willing to buy said pin, to just leave a like. I wasn't asking anybody for their dissertation. I wasn't asking anybody to give a whole speech on the ills of this country. We all know this country's not perfect, but there must be something about this country that everybody wants to come here. Truly, I believe our country is the last bastion of freedom in the world. But that also is for another time. All that being said, we have a rule in the Facebook group that states that if a conversation in the comments starts leaning political, to keep it light and respectful. Okay? Because I know that there's going to be conversations. We're all adults. Somebody's going to say something political, and it's going to run from there. All I ask is that it keeps it light and respectful. Blaming a party for the unfortunate death of protesters, that's not light. That's not respectful. What the president did in the State of the Union, in my opinion, and actually stated by the president, is he wanted the world to see the stark difference between the parties. If you don't see that way, that's fine. But that's how I see it. the division between the two parties. Now, back to our rule. We weren't having a discussion about the division between the parties. We were asking if anybody would be interested in purchasing a pin. Overwhelmingly, the sentiment was, yes, that is a pin that people would want to mark a moment in time. So I will be going forward with that pin. And I'll say this clearly. You will see other pins from Wilpinium that will have a political side. I live right outside of D.C. I hear a lot of news, and I tune out as much as I can. But we are in a very trying time, we'll say. Now, this group is not the place for debates, party arguments, or just venting your frustrations. As I stated, there are plenty other corners of the internet for that. Here at Scallycap Pin Syndicate, I want it to be a place where you can relax, you can ask questions about hats, pins, gallydom, anything you want. Share stories, share your life, have a good conversation without conflict every time. Okay? I'm not taking any action against anyone who said anything that I disagree with. And there were things that were said on both sides of the aisle that I disagreed with. Okay? But this is how this group's going to be run. I don't want to shun all political talk, but I definitely want it to stay light and respectful. It's the 250th year of our country. There's gonna be posts about the country, and it can turn political. I am asking my moderators to look for the hot spots where conversations may be going down the wrong path. Okay? But above all, I want us to be respectful of one another. No matter what the other person has to say. One of my other rules are, can you be an adult? And if you see something that you don't agree with, don't add any fuel to that fire. And I saw a handful of people adding fuel to the fire. Okay? And as I stated, I'm not taking any actions against those people. And they know who they are on both sides. I appreciate you all keeping the syndicate what it's meant to be. The hat-centric, pin-centric, fashion-centric site where everyone can go, check in, check out what's new, enjoy a video once in a while, and have input on what enamel pins you'd like to see. The Cryptid series came from a member, John Berlin. He presented a whole bunch of great designs and said, you thinking of doing anything with cryptids? I showed him my sad little designs, And I asked if I could use his. He said, yeah, I'd be more than happy. And that's why we have 3 of those pins out now. And 8 more, 9 more to come. Let's lean on what we do best. Let's talk about scally caps. Talk about vacations. Talk about your life. If you need somebody to talk to, either side of the aisle, I don't care. I will keep it respectful. Message me. I'll give you my phone number. We'll set up a time. We can sit down and talk. Okay? I'm not going to try to convince you of anything. But if you need to have a conversation because things you see on this site is frustrating, let's talk. Because as I said at the top of this video, if we don't have the communications, the divide's just going to get wider. And I'm of the age that I remember when people would talk to each other, would go to each other's houses, be outside. The neighborhood had people. And kids would be playing in each other's yards. And now we all live in our homes. We've made them our own little safe houses. And we use the internet as our neighborhood, let's say. Well, I want the Scally Cat Pin Syndicate to be the front yard that everybody wants to come to. I may not serve lemonade and cookies, but I'm trying to keep it light and respectful. Thanks so much for sitting around listening to this old man rant. But I'm being honest. If you need to talk to me, please reach out. Take care. Have a good weekend. Bye.